So let's look at some interesting things about the Great Seal. First of all, at the top, it says annuit septus. Anu, the word root of anu is year, like annual. Septus is conception, it's born. So it means the year is born. But in this case, the precession, the 25,920 year cycle, is also called the Great Year. And circumstantial evidence, which is very strong, and I'm going to show you all that evidence, shows that that's the year they're talking about being born. It's the end of the cycle. And of course, the pineal gland, the symbolism of the pineal gland being awakened, the pyramid factors in very prominently, which ties it into ancient Egypt, ancient civilizations. The gods built the pyramid, these people with the large heads. And what the heck is going on at the bottom with Novus Ordo Seclorum? Well, this brings us to the writing of Charles A.L. Totten. Now, here he is as a younger man, and he was in the military. You can see him there in full military regalia in the Civil War. And then here he is later in life. Now, it seems pretty clear that this guy was a highly initiated Freemason. I haven't done that research, but I absolutely believe he's got to be 33rd degree. In 1882, he had already become, by that point, a first lieutenant in the 4th Artillery of the U.S. Army, and he wrote a letter to the Secretary of the Treasury, Charles Folger, on February 10th, 1882. And here's what he said. This is a direct quote from Charles Totten. Novus Ordo Seclorum is a quotation from Virgil's 4th eclogue. I put the word Virgil's in there because that's what he means. That's what everybody knows eclogues are back in those days. And was borrowed in turn by Virgil from the mystic Sibylline records. The Sibylline records were actually channeled texts held as the highest and most heavily guarded treasure in Roman history because they were so accurate. They predicted Constantine by name 800 years before he showed up, predicted Hannibal by name. All these different disasters and events that happened in Roman history were in those texts, and they go right through to the end of the entire age, which is obviously happening now in our time. Now here in Charles Totten's letter of where Novus Ordo Seclorum came from, he actually quotes the original passage. Now this is what the founding fathers were using. The guy's name was Thompson, who actually did this quote in the first place. This is what they were using when they made that symbol on the dollar. This is what they excerpted it from. A mighty order of ages, Novus Ordo Seclorum, a mighty order of ages is born anew, novus, new. Well, the order of ages would be the precessional cycle. And there's, again, plenty of other evidence that that's what they're talking about if you read the whole thing. Both the prophetic virgin and Saturnian kingdoms now return. Well, what would a Saturn kingdom be? Humans that didn't originate on Earth, gods, coming from outer space. Now, it says, a new progeny, that means an offspring, a birth, a new type of birth, a new type of human. Now a new progeny is let down from the lofty heavens. The boy soon to be born, in whom the Iron Age shall come to an end, and the Golden One shall arise again in the whole earth. That is mind-blowing. How many people knew, well, don't raise your hand because you've all read my website, probably some of you know, but how many people knew that that was on the dollar, that that's actually what it was quoted from? It's unbelievable. But Totten's letter doesn't quote the whole thing. There's other stuff that's in that same passage. Here it is. Whatso tracks remain of our old wickedness, once done away, shall free the earth from never ceasing fear. That sounds pretty good. He shall receive the life of gods and see heroes with gods commingling, and himself be seen of them. This is disclosure. And not just the government telling you that UFOs are real, that humans are in the ships, but the UFOs actually showing up at the end of the age, which is written into all these other prophetic traditions we can talk about, including ones that are modern. And with his Father's worth, reign o'er a world at peace. Now, I believe this has gotten horribly distorted by the so-called Illuminati. I believe the original prophecy was positive. It will remain positive. It's written into Christianity. It's written into Islam with the prophecy of the Mahdi, which is their own Messiah. It's written into Hinduism. They're looking for the return of Krishna and Kalki. Every ancient prophecy, as we said, with this tradition, they talk about the coming golden age. And it's all hidden in the myths with the corn mill and all this stuff. It's in every tradition worldwide. This is the core of the prophecy. The gods return, heroes and gods commingling, humans on earth commingling with the gods, and we receive the life of gods. We become the golden one that arises in the whole earth. Humanity itself is transformed into some other form.